The iPhone 18 Pro is rumored to be getting some pretty cool upgrades. In fact, there are 9 changes that have so far been leaked. The first change is in terms of the release schedule, something that I also mentioned in our iPhone 18 leaks rumors video right here. Essentially, from next year, Apple is said to be updating their release schedule. The Pro models and the long-awaited iPhone Fold are set to stay on the usual fall release schedule. Meanwhile, the more affordable iPhones, the iPhone 18 and 18e, are said to be shifting to a spring launch schedule. So we're looking at September 2026 for the Pro iPhones and the iPhone Fold. Then spring 2026 for the iPhone 17e, followed by the iPhone 18 and 18e in spring 2027, possibly with the second-gen iPhone Air as well. So if you're looking to upgrade your iPhone this year, the only option that you'll have would be the iPhone 18 Pro, 18 Pro Max, and the iPhone Fold. I'll be covering the Fold in a separate video, so make sure to subscribe for that. Speaking of release schedules, on a separate note, I'm very surprised and sad to hear the news that Marquez is shutting down his wallpaper app, Panels. Panels share the same vision as our own app Wallpapers that we launched a year prior, allowing creators to share their work, promote their work, and also earn, whilst offering you guys the best possible wallpapers on the market. And that's still the case today. Wallpapers now has close to 2,500 wallpapers, all of them in full 8K quality, with close to 40 creators from all around the world, and still with 0 ads. So if you want to support our creators and get some stunning wallpapers that you can use on all of your devices, you can check out Wallpapers by using the link below. Now, back to the iPhone 18 Pro models. The next change is a couple of design tweaks. The overall design is set to largely remain unchanged, with a triple camera setup on the back inside the current camera plateau. What is changing though is the weight that's increasing, and also the thickness, which is also increasing. While the increased thickness usually translates into a bigger battery, I'm not really a fan of the added weight, because the iPhone 18 Pro Max is expected to weigh around 243 grams, making it the heaviest iPhone ever, even surpassing the iPhone 14 Pro Max at 240 grams, which was made out of stainless steel as opposed to aluminum on the 18 and 17 Pro Max. By the way, the 17 Pro Max had a weight of 233 grams. Aside from the weight and the thickness, there are some more back design changes actually happening, specifically when it comes to the back glass portion. Digital Chat Station suggests that Apple may go with a transparent look for that back glass, making it more in line with their current liquid glass design language. And I think that'll be super cool. A see-through back that would allow us to see some of the components, that'll be really sick. Although I would actually be very surprised if Apple actually does this. Instant Digital, on the other hand, suggests that Apple may go the other route and minimize the color difference between the glass portion and the aluminum unibody back, so that we finally get a uniform look rather than this two-tone design that I was never really a fan of, especially on the silver model. But what do you guys think? Which back design would you prefer? The current design, a transparent back, or a more uniform design? Speaking of design and colors, we may be seeing some fresh new colors for the iPhone 18 Pro and the 18 Pro Max, according to Instant Digital on Weibo. We may be seeing a purple make a return, as it was quite popular on the iPhone 11, 12, and the iPhone 14. Early leaks seem to indicate that it could be even more punchy and even more bright than the previous models. And if Apple does launch a purple, I'm thinking that this could replace the current cosmic orange that we have. We may also see an entirely new color called burgundy. This color would blend rich crimson with traces of brown, or purple for this darker wine-like tone apparently. And then we've got coffee, which would be apparently similar to desert titanium on the iPhone 16 Pro. The bad news is that apparently we won't be seeing a black color either on the iPhone 18 Pro, and I'm honestly very disappointed. I've always had a black iPhone, and this year I had to go with the blue, which I'm not still fully sold on. From what I've heard, the reason is simply that an anodized aluminum black back would be very scratch and scuff prone as opposed to the brighter colors. Also, there's no silver mentioned in this leak, although I would be very surprised if we don't actually get a silver at all. So now onto the more substantial changes. We have a couple of camera upgrades that are rumored here. The biggest one being a variable aperture on the main module of the iPhone 18 Pro and 18 Pro Max. Something that we used to have on phones like the Samsung Galaxy S9. That allowed you to adjust the amount of light hitting the sensor. Other phones like the Xiaomi 13 and 14 Ultra also had the same feature. Right now, the main camera on the iPhone 14 Pro, 15 Pro, 16 Pro, and 17 Pro, they all use a fixed f1.78 aperture. With a variable aperture, the iPhone 18 Pro would allow you to adjust the opening of the lens manually, much like on a dedicated camera, giving you far greater control over the depth of field, the subject focus, and just the overall blur. Essentially, a more open aperture is great to have in low light or when you want more depth of field, whereas a more closed-off aperture is great for keeping more of your shot in focus, or for when you're shooting video in a bright daylight scenario and you want to reduce the exposure without increasing the shutter speed, something that can create jitter in the shot. However, this is actually an expensive feature to include, reason why Samsung and Xiaomi actually stopped using it. Now, there's one more camera upgrade coming, but before that, let's talk about the dynamic island changes. Some reports have suggested that the Face ID sensors may be moving under the display, therefore shrinking the whole dynamic island. But more credible sources such as Mark Gurman and Instant Digital have reported that while indeed the dynamic island could be getting smaller, the Face ID hardware won't be moving under the display, at least not this year. However, I would still take a smaller dynamic island. Then the front camera is also set to be bumped to a 24 megapixel sensor from 18, although 24 megapixels is actually what the sensor's resolution is right now. It's just that Apple is only using the 18 megapixel part of it. So I wouldn't be surprised if this is actually the same sensor, but with the full area of it being used, so that you can actually take one-by-one photos and videos. Which brings me to the performance. I think the iPhone 18 Pro will be a beast because it's rumored to be using the brand new 2nm A20 Pro chip. This is said to be manufactured using TSMC's brand new wafer-level multi-chip module, or WMCM technology, where the RAM is built into the same wafer as the CPU, GPU, and neural engine, instead of being placed next to it. I've already talked about this in the previous videos, but essentially this could mean much faster performance, better Apple Intelligence responsiveness, and improved power efficiency, possibly even more internal space saved inside for a bigger battery. We may also see a redesigned vapor cooling chamber made from stainless steel to dissipate heat even better than this year's model. Speaking of chips, we're also expected to see a new C2 modem, the successor to the C1 found inside the iPhone 16e and the C1X found inside the iPhone Air. Now, the C2 is finally set to bring back the millimeter wave technology, which was actually removed in the C1 modems, for faster speeds and also better power efficiency than the iPhone 17 Pro and 17 Pro Max, both of which use the Qualcomm chips. And finally, we have the thing that I'm excited for the most, a brand new main sensor. One that's said to be made by Samsung instead of Sony. Not only that, but this sensor is said to be specifically made for Apple, instead of being a different sensor that other manufacturers can also use. It's rumored to be a new 3-layer stacked image sensor referred to as PDTR logic that integrates 3 layers of circuitry, which could improve camera responsiveness, reduce noise, and noticeably increase dynamic range. We don't really know anything about the size of the sensor or even the resolution, although my guess is that this would be the same sensor size and the same resolution as well, just a newer sensor that would perform better than the current Sony sensor. I'm definitely not expecting this to be a 1-inch sensor. I would love that to be the case, but we've had so many leaks on that over the years and that never really happened. In fact, for the past 4 years, Apple's been using the exact same main sensor from the iPhone 14 Pro to the 17 Pro. So I'm definitely hyped a bit about this upgrade, but I'm just not expecting it to be a game changer. Now, aside from this, there is one more change that's actually pretty big, although that one deserves a video of its own. So do subscribe for that. But yeah, all in all, the iPhone 18 Pro looks like a refinement of the iPhone 17 Pro rather than a massive change. The true massive change would be the iPhone Fold. Video on that also coming soon. And yeah, aside from this, check out our app wallpapers for some awesome designs, and stay tuned for more updates as soon as we've got them. I'm Daniel, this is ZONEofTECH, and I'll see you guys in the next one. ZONEofTECH, signing out. Cheers.